This video is about the conditions of actions and the related set of game variables in the original System Shock. For this I'm using the tools from the deck package of InkyBlackness in version 0.10.4. Future releases might have a different interface, yet the concept remains the same. Triggers as well as some interactive objects, such as doors and buttons, can be limited by a condition. Only if the condition applies, the configured action will be executed, or the door opens. For triggers, there are different types of conditions, depending on the trigger type. For instance, ecology triggers watch for a certain type of objects, yet the majority of triggers watches the values of game variables. In order to persist the state of a button press across levels, or the progress of a storyline in general, the engine provides a large set of game variables, which are available to all levels. These variables are stored in the archive and are thus persisted in a save game. For the most part, the setGameVariable action is used to change these variables. As a simple example, the museum has been extended with another single-use level entry trigger, which turns off the tooltip help by setting the corresponding reserved Boolean variable. There are two types of game variables: Boolean variables, which are either 0 or 1, and integer variables of 12 bits of size, giving you a range from 0 to short over 4000. Though, keep in mind that conditions can be configured to values up to 255 only. The engine supports 512 Boolean variables and 40 integer variables. In both cases, some variables are reserved, or at least initialized, by the engine. For example, 2 integer variables are initialized with randomly generated numbers, used as codes for the reactor in the original game, and some booleans are tied to the state of the station citadel and the status analyzer. At the time of recording of this video, only a small set of variables that the original game and the engine used has been identified. To be on the safe side, it might be best to use up variables from the end rather from the beginning for mods. Doors have a built-in condition, a lock, referring to Boolean variables. If the identified Boolean variable is 1, then the door is locked. Should a locked door be triggered through an action, then the lock is ignored for future uses. An early example in the original game is the first door on the left when you wake up. A prominent example of reserved integer variables are those of level security. Each real-world level has a level security variable assigned, starting from index 16 for level 0. A value of 255 then represents 100%. The engine updates this value whenever a security-related object is destroyed. In the example here, the button is bound to the level security value. When the button is used, the condition is checked. Condition on variables retrieve the current value and perform a configured comparison against the configured value. Only if the condition is met, the action is executed. If the condition is not met, an optional trigger message can be shown. Message index 255 shows the notice about security. To summarize, triggers and interactive objects support conditions and the majority refers to game variables. The engine provides a large set of game variables available across all levels, and nearly all variables are modified through actions. Always keep a backup of your files and don't forget to salt the fries.